Hi, my name is Natalie Kenny Marquez. I'm the owner of Grow Marketing and Communications based out of Champaign, Illinois. I'm here to share with you a presentation today on Canva basics, creating click-worthy social media graphics, and so much more. And I thought, how better to share how to use Canva and the benefits of using Canva for small businesses than to create a presentation in Canva and take you through the process. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. So, like I said, today we're going to be learning how to make click-worthy social media graphics and quite a few other things. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my Canva open right now to a presentation. I created my whole presentation for today right in Canva. It's really that easy. So before we get started, today's plan, I'm going to talk to you about what is Canva, who can use Canva, when Canva isn't the right platform to use, because actually there are times when I would recommend not using Canva, although there are a lot of great reasons why you should use Canva. So we're going to talk about ways that you can use Canva, and also a few follow along tutorials to get started right now. So if you have a laptop available, I would go ahead and get that out and we can go along together. So first of all, let's talk about Canva. What is it? It's a user-friendly online design tool. I like Canva a lot, although I do have a graphic design background and use programs like InDesign and Illustrator and Photoshop and things like that. I use Canva quite frequently when I'm doing work for my clients. It easily creates presentations like this one right now. You can see here I've got all sorts of slides for my presentation today. I can even have presentation notes over to the side. But you can easily create presentations, landing pages for a website, Instagram posts, infographics, which are really popular, and other marketing graphics, even videos. Yes, it's really a great platform. Canva includes a large library of pre-designed templates, which is great if you are really busy and your creative juices aren't really flowing and you need something to help get you started. There are templates in there that you can use. But then you can also easily customize templates and graphics to fit your organization's branding. So who can use Canva? Well, anyone, even if you aren't a designer. Canva is great because it helps you to make really eye-catching graphics without having a pretty significant designing background. It's also accessible because you can always have a free account, or you can also have a professional account or a pro account that does come with a little bit of a cost. However, Canva does allow nonprofit programs to have free access to a lot of the pro account features. So if you're a registered 501c3 organization, or you're an organization with a social impact that provides a public benefit, or you're a public health organization, these are all ways that you can obtain a free, premium, or pro account on Canva. If this doesn't apply to you, no worries. You can still do a lot of awesome things with Canva without having the pro account. So before I tell you all the ways that you should and can be using Canva, there are a few times when I would say don't use Canva. It does have some limitations. For example, layouts. If you have a multiple page layout, like a newsletter that's, I would say anything more than 4 pages long, I would not use Canva. I would use a program like InDesign. Or if you're doing program guides or book designs, anything like that with multiple page layouts, I would stick to something that's not Canva. Sometimes in design work, I am requested to use vector art or line art. It's where each different color or different piece of the graphic has an outline around it so that the printer can print the different lines or layers of that graphic. Canva cannot associate the different lines, and so you would not want to use Canva if you need to provide a printer line art. Another reason why you shouldn't use Canva is if you want to open the design outside of Canva. So you can only open and edit and share a design within Canva. You can export the design in all different ways, and we'll talk about that later. But as an example, if I export a PDF, which is generally what you would use to print, say, a flyer, and I send it to someone, they can't then drag that PDF into one of their design programs and open it up and edit it. So it's a little bit different than some of, like, say, the Adobe suite of design programs. However, there are lots of ways that you can use Canva. I feel like now that I've said Canva so many times that the word CAN must be in there for a reason, because you can really do just about anything with Canva. Today, we're going to talk about four key ways that you can use Canva. One is brand kits. One is social media graphics. I'm also going to throw in a little bit about marketing materials, and then also custom prints. And I know the title of this presentation is Eye-Catching Social Media Graphics, but really it's just one click away from doing so many more things. I thought I would just throw it all in there and hopefully not overwhelm you today. All right, so let's talk a little bit about branding and brand kits. Branding is really easy in your Canva because you can actually bring in your business or your brand's color palettes. You can create a logo, upload a logo. You can bring in photography, imagery, graphics, backgrounds, things that are representative of your brand. You can choose the typography that you'd like to use. So that means the font pairings that are important to be consistent with your brand. And all of that is easily just drop it right into Canva and you're ready to go. So I am in Canva, a different page of Canva. It's over here. Once you log in, you can see that I'm on my personal account. That's me. I've gone to the menu on the left-hand side and I've come over to brand. And once I come here, you can see that this is my business, Grow Marketing and Communications brand. And so I can house all sorts of things here that will pop up as a menu and all of the designs that I can make in Canva. And I thought it might be helpful today for you to see how to create your brand in Canva, which I think is really important if you're going to be consistent in how you represent your business across your social media platforms or in things that you design and print, let's say to take to a farmer's market or to a pop-up market or to have out on a table or to have at the register where people check out. Whatever it might be, this is a great opportunity to put your brand guidelines right into Canva and always have it at your fingertips. So first is the logo. You can see, well, maybe you can kind of see, I have my white version of my logo in there, but I can also bring in other things, other logos. So if you have them in a folder on your desktop, you can literally drag and drop them in there, or you can press the plus sign and then you can pull it up from there. So I'm going to just drag and drop my full logo in there that is black. You can see I just dropped it right in there and it's uploaded, and there I go. I've got my black and my white version of my logo. Next, we'll move down to brand colors. I don't really want Canva to pull colors from my logo, although that might be very helpful for you if you have a full color logo that has a lot of colors in it. Canva does a pretty good job of color matching for you, and so you might want to keep that in there, but I'm actually going to remove it because I don't need it. I'm going to build out my own color palette. I have a few colors in my brand. The first is this teal color that I've already dropped in there. And when I say drop the color in there, there's something called a hex code. You can see this, the pound sign or the hashtag 25BEA0. That is the hex code for my teal color in my brand for Grow. I also have another color and it's yellow, and that hex code is FACC43. And so I'm going to add that in there. I also have a gray color, that's 6B, 6B, 6B. I also use black. And then I also use white. There we go. To get these hex colors, if you had a designer help you create a logo, you should have either a CMYK color or RGB or a hex code that you can drop in here. You can see you can add your CMYK if that's something that you have. If you don't have these colors, then like I showed you before, when you drop and drag your logo in here, Canva will color match pretty darn closely to whatever it is in your logo and already have it in there for your brand colors. So that might be a step that you'll be able to skip. All right, the next thing that I want to do before I move on to creating click-worthy social media graphics is to upload my brand fonts. So these are not my fonts necessarily. I use for my header, League Spartan. So this is it right here. That's what I've been using in my presentation. You saw across the top, I had a header on everything and it was sized 64. So it's all ready to go. My subhead is usually also League Spartan, and we will leave it at 18. That works for me. And then body style, that is the font that I would use in like text in the paragraph, and that's called Glacial Indifference. Such fun names. And so there we go. I have all of my fonts in there. Going back to your brand guidelines, there could be a chance that the fonts that you use regularly in your marketing efforts aren't included in Canva. And if that's the case, then you can just come over here to your uploaded fonts or upload a font directly from your computer. That way you have it in your Canva and you're consistent in your branding efforts. Okay, so we've pretty much built out my brand guidelines for my business here in Canva. And so now we can get started with the next steps. So I'm going to head back over to the presentation. We've talked about branding, and now we're going to move on to social media graphics. Yay! Social media graphics in Canva is super easy, and it's because Canva has built-in automatic sizing for so many different social media platforms, which makes it super easy to design great graphics. I remember back in the day when I would have to keep a little cheat sheet or a post-it note by my computer that lists what size a Facebook post was, what size an Instagram post was, what size the header for Facebook or a Facebook event header, or, you know, there's so many different sizes of everything. And it was really kind of a pain to keep tabs on all that. Well, you don't have to do that anymore in Canva because they automatically size it for you. It's pretty great because you can resize a design for use in other platforms, meaning maybe you make a really great Facebook post and you think, okay, I think I'm going to build out a suite of graphics for a campaign. So for example, say you have a holiday event coming up at your business and you want to create a whole suite of graphics that support that event. So that could be a Facebook post or a set of Facebook posts. It could be an Instagram post. It could be a graphic header that you put on a Facebook event that you create in Facebook. It could be a flyer. It could be a rack card. It could be a little quarter sheet that you hand out. That would be a whole suite of graphics that you could create easily in Canva from resizing one thing to the next. And I'll show you what I mean by that. You can use templates. So there are designs that Canva has already created that you can use and then kind of upcycle or repurpose based on your brand, or you could create a whole new design, a whole new custom design. And then lastly, you can choose how you want to download your design. So let's take a look at what that means. I am on my home screen for Canva. This is what it looks like when I log into Canva. And up here in the top right-hand corner is where I typically navigate to create a design. Click on that, and I already had Facebook loaded in there, but as an example, see all these things that you can make in Canva? for Facebook, and it shows you the size. PX means pixels. So that is a different form of measurement that's usually used in digital design. You can see that there are Facebook ads, covers, Facebook event cover like I talked about, but let's just start easy with a Facebook post. So I'll click on Facebook post. And what's really great is that over here in the top left-hand corner, there are templates for Facebook posts, which is super helpful because if you are like me and you have 1,000 things running through your head, sometimes you kind of have a bit of a creative block. So if you can see some other examples, it's really helpful. But you can type in all sorts of things like, let's try farmers market and see what it pops up with. And here are some examples of farmers market posts. One thing though is if you are trying to be really consistent with your branding, using a template might be a little difficult unless you change some of the colors and the fonts to represent your brand. Otherwise, every post you make will look dramatically different. And from an audience point of view, it's good to have consistency. So here are some examples of some templates that you could use. You can also make videos. See, look at that. Let's try that one. So this, instead of dropping in a photo in here, you can drop in a video. And there's all sorts of videos and photos that are stock that you can use within Canva, but you can also use your own as well. So I navigated to the left menu and I clicked elements, and I can put in the word farmers market as example, and you can navigate between graphics, photos, videos, and audio. So it's pretty awesome. You can hover your mouse over the videos and kind of watch a little preview. So there's all sorts of videos to pick from. I kind of like this one here. And so I'm clicking on it and I'm dragging it into the frame. And there it is, just that easy. I have a little video. Now you can, over here where it says upload, you can have videos that you've taken from your phone or photos that you've taken from your phone or from a camera. If you have them on a folder on your computer, you can just drag and drop them into uploads and then use your own imagery, which I would highly recommend if you have it because it's obviously more consistent with your brand and more authentic. But for this example today, I will use a stock one because I don't run a farmer's market and I'm not a farmer, although I support lots of local farms and farmers markets. I will use the example of the stock video today. I would just play around with Canva a little bit and get used to how the components of it work. You can see as I'm clicking around, that purple box is highlighting different components of the post. So right now it's got a purple box around everything. So that's the background color. And you can see up here in the corner, background color. I love how intuitive Canva is. And if you're just a little bit patient with it, when you roll your mouse around, it will show you things and make it really easy to figure out what to click on to find what you need. If we click on that background color, you can see that brand that we just built into Canva is right here. It's my Grow Marketing and Communications brand. So you can see that I can change the background color to any one of my brand colors, probably not white because then it makes everything go away. Let's try yellow. That seems to work okay. Same goes with the text. I can see here, this is not the text that we uploaded earlier. So if I click on the box, see how it turns purple. This is my palette of typography, similar to if you've used Word or Google Docs, a very similar palette. From this drop-down menu, my brand is right here. You can see Grow Marketing and Communications. I can choose one of my fonts. Let's choose it for this one too. And let's choose it for this one too. And then we can change this color as well if we want to. Maybe we'll change it to black so it goes with my colors. And when I click on this, you can see that it's not pure white. So let's change it to pure white so that it matches all of my rest of my branding. Okay. Right here is, see where it says untitled design Facebook post. This is where you would title your design. And so I'll call it example Facebook post video. That way I can remember the title because it's good to title all of your designs. And then I can see a preview of it by clicking play. Look at that. We just made that. Super simple. And from here, I can download it and put it right on Facebook. So when I click download, in order for it to be a video, it needs to be downloaded right here, just as it's suggested as an MP4 video. However, if you wanted to just use it as just how it looks right now, just as a still graphic, obviously it wouldn't have the little play button on there. Then from this drop-down menu, I would click something like PNG. JPG and PNG are the two files that are most commonly used in sharing on social media. So I'd pick one of those. So I can just download this, click download, and it will tell me when it's downloaded to my computer, and then I can upload it into Facebook, and I just created a video. Taking a little while to download because I have a lot of different tabs open right now. So let's go back to the presentation. We talked about creating a suite of graphics for a campaign. So let's go back to this post. We created a really nice post here and say I want to also make this sized for Instagram. So I can come over here to where it says resize, click on resize, and type in Instagram post video. Perfect. Let's click on that. And what Canva is going to do is create a whole new file and resize it specifically to the size that Instagram wants for a post video. And there we go. It's all ready for Instagram. You'll see it's just a little bit different looking than the one from Facebook. And so I might need to change a few things. Like if I click on this video, you see how the purple square goes, or the outline goes all the way around it. And see how my arrow changes. I can make it a little bit bigger so that it fits the size. Same with this. See how the arrow pops up. I can drag and make that just a little bit bigger, put my mouse on it and size it. And see how these lines come up vertically and horizontally? Right now it's telling me that it's perfectly centered. So like I said, if you're just a little bit patient with your mouse as you navigate around Canva, you can find all sorts of really intuitive things. I might want to make this a little bit bigger too. And then make sure that it's all positioned. See, look, there comes the horizontal line telling me it's centered with that circle. And then I'll move that one up so that it's centered with the circle. And see those two little things that say 16? That's telling me that they're equally spaced on either side of the circle. Now they're not, now they are. It's just a super handy tool. And so now up here where it says example Facebook post dash video, because it replicated the old design that we just made, I'm going to get rid of where it says Facebook post, and I'm going to keep the part that says Instagram post video. And then I can download it as an MP4 video, and then I'm ready to go. All right. Now let's say that you want to create your own custom size of social media post. So let's go back to my homepage of Canva, where I click on create a design. I can come down to where it says custom size. and then I can choose what size of design I want to create. So let's say 1000 by 1000, and then create design. And then I have a whole new palette ready to go. I would make sure that I title it. And usually when I title something and it's a certain size that's custom, I'll include the size afterwards so that as I'm going through my files in Canva, I can remember, oh, that's sized 1000 by 1000. I can use templates over here to help get me started. Also, there are elements that you can use. We used elements to find a video for the last couple of posts, but there's also lines and shapes. There are graphics, there are stickers, there are stock photos and videos. You can create charts, tables. These are frames. So say I wanted to import a photo that was a circle. The frame is already there, and then I can just drag and drop a photo in there. Let's use an example. So let's say I would like to have, let's pick a fun one. These people working around their computer. Oh, no, let's pick the coffee because I really like coffee. All right, so I just click and drag it into the circle, and look, I've put my photo in a circle. Pretty awesome. And I can change the background color. I can move it around. I can come to text over here and look, it's my brand. This is why it's important in your Canva to put your brand in there. I can add a heading and put it over here and see, just dragging my mouse over, I can see all of the ways that I can resize it. Just like in your Word or Google Docs, you can choose alignment. So I can make it left justified or centered or right. I can add bullet points. I can change the letter spacing so that it's really far apart or really close together. And same with line. I can make the lines really far apart or really close together. One other thing, I'm going to get rid of the bullet points here. That's kind of cool for social media graphics is if you have text or an image, you can animate those. And so when you see, let's say in an Instagram story, there's some movement in the graphic. This is one way that you can easily use that. I click on the graphic and I click on animate, and there's all sorts of things that I can do, like tectonic or drift or baseline, or it tumbles in. That one's called scrapbook. There's pan. Ooh, there's pop. You see, you can play around and do all sorts of things. Let's add a couple of options. So I just added a couple of text and graphic animations. And if I come up here and click play, you can see what that looked like that we just did. We'll close out of here. And so there's all sorts of things that you can do in making fun and eye-catching social media graphics that incorporate your brand, that use photography or imagery that you've uploaded into Canva. See over here where it says upload, or elements that you have borrowed, whether they be photos or videos, text that is in alignment with your branding, etc. All right. Let's talk a little bit about marketing materials. So in Canva, we're back at the home page. There's all sorts of marketing materials that you can make in Canva. Presentations, like the one I've been clicking back and forth on to show you, flyers of different sizes. You could even do trifold brochures or rack cards. Really, there's all sorts of opportunities for you. So let's choose a portrait-sized flyer. So that's 8.5 by 11, so normal sheet of paper. We'll click on flyer and look at that beautiful blank slate that we have to work with. If you need some help trying to figure out what kind of flyer you want it to look like, we could put something in here like holiday and see what it comes up with. All sorts of templates that are pre-made, ready to go. Although, like I said before, just beware, the templates are fun and they're very pretty and they are very eye-catching, but not always do they fall in alignment with your brand. And so there may be times when you want to swap out some fonts or some colors so that it looks more consistent with your brand. Let's start with this one over here. This is fun. It's all ready to go. It has all sorts of text and fonts and colors, and I like how it looks, but I am not exploring the world. I'm a marketing consulting business based in Champaign, Illinois. I would love to explore the world, but I do get to explore a lot of farmers markets and visit with a lot of farmers and travel around the great state of Illinois. So maybe I will adjust this just a little bit, but I like how it looks. And you might like one of these templates for your business, but you just might need to change a couple of things. And so I can come over to Elements and I can type in the word, let's say, Illinois, and there's a picture of like this one. There's a picture of the city. If you double click on the image, it pulls up the whole image because you can see that part of it was cropped, and you can pull it down so that there we can see the Hancock building. This orange is not my brand color. So if I click on the color, I can change it to my color. There we go. Down here, I can change it to my color of teal. The circles around the images. See, here's the image. Here's the circle. I can change it to my color of teal and yellow and gray. And same with these little images down here. Let me make this just a little bit bigger so you can see. I can make this icon this color, this icon this color, and this icon this color. I can swap out the fonts so that they are my fonts. And body as well. Make sure I switch that to, make it just a little bit smaller. All right. Might need to change this font. I might keep that one. I'm okay with that for this specific use. We'll change the fonts down here so that they all match up. And there we go. It looks a lot more like my brand. I can drop in some new photos. Maybe we'll swap out that one here. And let's see, what else should we swap out? How about that one there? And let's keep scrolling and find another good one. I'm going to switch up there. Prairie. That looks nice. And here's some water there. So I've used a template, but you can see I've adjusted it to use my brand colors. I've swapped out the photos by clicking and dragging and dropping them in there. I've swapped out the text to be that which is of my brand because I've already put it in there. And now I have a flyer. Got to name it example flyer 8.5 by 11. And I have my flyer ready to go. I probably want to change the text and the headers, but for this example, I wanted to show you pretty much how easy it is to click, drag, and drop. I want to download this so that I can print it. And if I'm going to print it on my computer, I would choose PDF print, best for printing. One thing that you can do is if you aren't going to print it on your own computer and you're going to send it to a printer to print for you, I generally include crop marks and bleed. What that means is that you can see here how the image goes right beyond the edge, and same over here and over here. And that, by downloading it with the printer's marks, it indicates to the printer where to cut each sheet of paper so that you're sure to keep it at an 8.5 by 11 size and that your printing goes all the way to the edge. So we'll click download, we'll switch it to PDF for print, we'll add the crop marks, and then we'll click download, and then it's downloading my flyer for me right here. There it is. I can drag it to my desktop and send it to the printer, and I'm ready to go. I love using local printers because I love keeping my business local whenever I can. However, if you don't have a local printer, you can print the flyers directly through Canva. I've done it a couple of times. It's been fine, but I do like to support my local printers better, but there are options to print directly from Canva. So it really kind of is a one-stop shop. So in marketing materials, I've showed you how you could use a pre-designed template and customize it with your own branding. You can also make a custom design. So we go back to my example flyer. You know, maybe I didn't want this image right here and I want to move this up to the top. You know, you can really make a lot of custom customizations so that it works best for what you want. Maybe I want to make the text bigger, so I make it bigger, you know, move everything around. Maybe I want to add another photo, so I select the photo and I copy and paste it. And, you know, want to change the color of that one because I have two grays right next to each other. So maybe I change it to black. You know, there's all sorts of ways that you can customize. You can also make your own flyer. So you could, you know, like I said, go back to custom size, change it to inches, not pixels, and then say you wanted to do like a quarter sheet to print as something you could hand out at the cash register, or a half size rack card. You can enter all of those custom sizes in here and you're ready to go. We talked about downloading with printer's marks. The one thing I haven't shown you yet is how to share it with your team. So let's go back to, there it is, our flyer. So anything that you make in Canva, you can share with someone if you have a team created, or if you have a coworker or a colleague or a friend or family member that you want to have help you out with this. If they have Canva, it can send it to them in an email and they create a Canva account, or they can open it directly in their Canva account. So I'll press the plus right here, and then all I need to do is type in the email address of who I want to share it to, and then it's ready to go. I often share Canva designs with my clients if we're working on something together, or that way that they can keep it editable so that they keep it in their folder in Canva. Lastly, in Canva, I thought it would be fun to share with you some custom prints. Those are things like gift certificates or product labels and tags, t-shirt designs, yard signs, banners. These are all easy things that you can do in Canva. So I'm back at my home page for Canva. See, I'm at home and I navigated over to where it says custom prints, and then they give you a bunch of templates right here that you can use that are ready to go, that you can repurpose using your own brand guidelines and make it super easy to do some really fun custom prints like t-shirts, sticker templates, which is really great if you have products that you want to sticker, a design for a coffee mug because we could all use some more coffee. Mama needs coffee. Yep. Coffee needs you. Yes. Photo books. Maybe you have like a photo book that shows a product suite that you could offer to showcase some of your products, or an end of season recap, or any number of things. You can create labels on here. and they have things all ready to go for you. It's winter, so everybody needs a hoodie. There's designs, banners, super important. When I was a farmer's market manager, I made all of my vendors have banners. I even helped them create banners. But you have all sorts of banners that you can choose and then add your design, your brand guidelines to the templates. Yard signs, it could be possible you live somewhere where they allow yard signs for your business or for your event. This is another example. And then certificates, all sorts of certificates that you can repurpose and use with your own brand guidelines. One thing that I didn't add into my presentation is talking about folders. And so I'm going to show you how to add another slide in my presentation so that we can talk about creating folders. So you can either click the add page button right here, which adds a page to the end, and then I can click and drag it over. So that's one way to do it. I'm going to delete that because I'm going to show you another page, another way. I want the slide to look just like this. So see those three dots right there? Click on that, and I'm going to duplicate the page, and we're going to talk about folders. And we're going to talk about organizing your designs in folders. So I just showed you how to add a slide, and I showed you how to make changes to it. And now I'm going to show you in Canva how to make folders, which I think could be pretty helpful if you are wanting to be super organized. So if you navigate back to your home, here I am. This is my, like I said, my personal Canva. You can see all the different designs that I have in here for all of my different clients, but on the left-hand side where it says projects, these are all the different projects that I've been working on for all my different clients, and I've created folders to try to keep all of them organized. And so you can create folders, you can keep your designs all together, all sorts of things. But I like having the folders here so that it makes it easy for me to find designs that I've created by client. Applicable to you, it could be by season. That could be really helpful so that you're not reinventing the wheel every time if you have a lot of seasonal promotions or seasonal graphics that you want to reuse or repurpose over time. So if we go back to where it says example Instagram post video, when I click the plus, I can, let me see. Oh, sorry, it's over here under file, not the plus sign. I'm not sharing it with anyone. I'm moving it to a folder. So I'm going to save to folder. So file, save to folder, my projects, and then I'm going to scroll down to where it says grow marketing, and I'm going to save it there. And so this design has been saved into my grow marketing folder so that I can know where it is, easily access it later. Like I said, applicable to you, you could create folders based on seasons, based on products, based on events. That way you can go back to them easily, find things, make updates, and then move on and not have to waste a lot of time starting all over again from scratch. All right, that was my whirlwind Canva basics, creating click-worthy social media graphics and more presentation for today. I am happy to answer any questions you have. You're welcome to email me. My email is on the screen. You're welcome to call me, visit my website. If you have any questions, if you want to go over something, if you get stuck in Canva and need a hand, take a screenshot, or we can hop on a Zoom call and go over it. I'm really happy to help because I want you to succeed in what you're doing with your business. And hopefully understanding the basics of Canva will help you with your graphic design and your marketing. All right, have a great day. Thank you so much for your time.